Good afternoon, Apphia. How you doing? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
We got it right that time around. We got it right that time around. The joke that's got us both smiling shall stay between us for this forever, I hope. Apphia, for those who are watching, has got a production opening up at the Rose Theatre. It's the first one since lockdown was ended. We're getting back to some kind of normality. After talk about it, you must be over the moon, and talk about your show, what it's called, and what people can expect from it.
Oh, okay. Hi. My name's Apphia Campbell, and I am one of the writers for a piece called Woke. It's about two women, 42 years apart, who get involved in the civil rights movement. Um, and it focuses on one character who's Assata Shakur, who was a Black Panther, falsely convicted of killing a New Jersey police officer. She was sentenced to life in prison. She escaped prison, and she still lives in Cuba to this day. She's a real life character. And the other character, Ambrosia, is the journey we kind of follow a bit more closely, who moves to Ferguson at the beginning of the Ferguson unrest. And it kind of goes between past and present, asking that question about how far we've come. Ambrosia is a fictional character, but it's through her that we kind of understand the root of the unrest that was happening in Ferguson that kind of led to more of the discourse that was happening between the citizens and the police department there. And so it's a fun journey that has, fun, informative, and fun at times.
I was just gonna say that. Where's the fun?
Well, she's a fun character, Ambrosia, because she's in has her innocence taken in a way. I hope that's not giving too much away, but she comes in there kind of naively, like wondering, what is all this fuss about? Like what's happening? Like, she comes in and becomes schooled. But I think her journey is a really fun journey for me to play as an actress. Yeah, I really enjoy her character a lot.
Talk about the music, because I know the soundtrack is there's been particular attention paid to that. So just go into that for me a little bit.
Yeah, so the soundtrack consists of like blues and original tracks that have been written by myself, and yeah, just kind of it chrono underscores the journey of both of these characters. For Asada's journey, it is kind of more blues and like old what's the word? Not I was gonna say like narratives, but it's not. It's like folk songs, I suppose. And for Ambrosia, it's more contemporary singer-songwriter style music because Ambrosia's character is an aspiring singer, and that's kind of she discovers her voice as well throughout her journey in this, which in turn kind of reflects in the music that she ends up singing as well. Uh, and so, yeah, there's music throughout the whole piece, which makes it really wonderful to watch and listen to as well.
I really want to get into. You've written this. You wrote some of the
Mm.
music. Writing's clearly a passion. But before that, black is the color of my voice. You know,
Mm.
you're widely known and renowned for that piece of work. I understand it played out to sold out audiences in Shanghai and New York. So my thing with that is, what was that like for you, just to be able to curate a piece of work that was embraced by those such a diverse audience?
Yeah, Black is the Color of My Voice. I wrote it back in 2013, and it started in Shanghai because I was living there at the time, which I kind of think helped to encourage me to write it and also feel bold enough to try and tackle such a large character, Nina Simone. And it's been a wonderful journey with that piece. I'm still performing that piece. Even what is that, like what is it, 7, 8 years later?
8 years later.
I never imagined the journey would be this long, but I'm glad that people still, yeah, excuse me, still enjoy and connect with the work. yeah.
So what inspires you to write? And when did you know that this was going to be a path and avenue that you were going to take?
Uh, I think the inspiration initially to start writing came from just my wanting to, just put my talents on display as actresses, as we do. I felt like I wasn't being seen for the things that I knew that I could do, and the things I wanted, the work I wanted to do. So it was just kind of out of frustration I started writing, and I love the freedom it gave me creatively. Also with my life, being able to kind of be in charge of my own career, and yeah, and I love being able to research and kind of develop a piece and put out the things that I feel passionate about. So that's kind of what encouraged me to continue writing, because I remember when I wrote Black, I it was just a passionate piece, and I didn't expect it to, I guess, really go any further than Shanghai. I just was like always wanting to write it, and so to see that journey, and when I did it on the West End like 2 years ago now, having it go up on the West End was like a dream come true because I never imagined it would have that kind of journey. So I'm always interested in pieces that are are subjects that are somewhat political, topical. I guess I read the paper a lot, and I'm always looking for stories that are interesting. So I've been trying to think of that question of like what really I'm drawn to, and it is often, really strong women and political things, that I want to inquire about, and I kind of let that journey take that, yeah, inquisitive like journey happen, I suppose.
You talk about seeing yourself, your work at those heights, West End, embraced in such a way. Talk about the humble beginnings, I feel like, just in terms of you starting out and, just dedicating your life to this. How did that shape itself?
I grew up in Sarasota, Florida, in a really small community, or yeah, it was a small community. It was a church and a school community that had a strong tie in like music and drama. So I suppose even at a young age, I was already my path was already being laid out for me, I suppose. And my parents were always really encouraging of me being in the arts. I guess when I came out of high school is when I obviously made the choice to want to pursue theater, and I went and got my bachelor's degree in theater performance, and then moved to New York, where everyone was like, "I'm gonna be a star," and it was in New York where I really kind of started discovering that I needed to figure out how to develop my voice more, because on Broadway it's a lot of musicals, and I didn't really see myself as a singer at that time. I just was like, I'm an actress and that's what I do is plays. But when I got to New York, I quickly discovered that if you didn't sing, you didn't work. So I started developing my voice, and I guess really seeing how I felt quite limited as a performer there. Just I think just being in the audition circuit and trying to figure out how to stand out uh, within that within the audition circuit within the industry, uh, which is what kind of led me to eventually go to Shanghai and I guess discover myself in a way, and just try and figure out what I wanted to do, yeah, with my life and with my career.
In Shanghai. Wow, that's a place to go and do that. I mean, talk about that experience.
uh,
I've got friends that live in China, so there's varying experiences. What was yours like?
yeah, Shanghai was amazing. I really I always say that I don't think I would have began the journey of writing had I not gone to Shanghai. And it was because I went in 2009, and it was the year, of course, the financial crisis, which also like drove me out of America. And I had an intention of only going for 1 year, and then I would plan on going back to to America. But after that first year in Shanghai, I ended up getting a job. Well, I was teaching drama initially at an art school, and then that school closed down. But then I got a job singing at a bar there, and then from there, just joining like the music scene and just kind of joining like this renaissance that was happening in Shanghai because everyone was like hiding out in China because the whole world was under this financial crisis, and it was this like boom happening culturally in Shanghai, and so I think kind of being immersed in that and feeling like I saw lots of artists around me trying things and things that were doing really well, things that weren't, but there wasn't this pressure to succeed, which is why I think I was like, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna start writing, and the community there was really encouraging of people trying new things. The Chinese people I met there, even some of the other Americans or other people in the immigrant community there were also trying and encouraging you to see what you can do. And so that's why I felt really encouraged in that community there in Shanghai.
And here you are. I mean, some of the choices that you've undertaken have been really bold. So I guess you've deserved all the things that you've reaped, so you've sowed, as they say. What next? I mean, in terms of collaborations or venues or just aspirations, targets, dreams. What are you looking at?
What is next? I that's that question, eh? I am working on like new work and researching and seeing what comes next.
Okay, all right. You keep it under.
Yeah.
You keep it under your hat. You keep it close. That's fair enough. No worries. Well, listen, woke. As succinctly as you can, if you could, and I guess you don't. You want to predict what people will take away from this, but if you could, if there was a recurring theme from what people got from this production at the Rose Theatre, what would you like or envisage that to be?
I think that people's experiences, which is one of the things I had in mind when we were developing the piece, is like, I wanted to show like how people become politicized, and also helping people like understand, the Black Lives Matter movement and understand what happens when you continually like oppress people, and to not always like believe what you see in the headlines, that there's always a story behind it. And it's been actually really wonderful to see the journey of the Black Lives Matter movement from when I first when they first came into my when I became aware of them, which was in 2000 and I guess 14, was really when I became aware of them, because I was still living in China and I was seeing all of the images coming out of Ferguson. So the Black Lives Matter movement happened and I was watching it from abroad and I was thinking, what is Black Lives Matter? What's happening in Ferguson? Why are there why are they tanks on the streets? Like, why is there a war in this Black community? And I thought that it was really important to help people understand, like, just that behind all of the unrest, that there is a story, and to be empathetic and understand that and listen and trying to understand another person's point of view. So I hope that people walk away with that, with more of a understanding, but also more of an urge to do more research and learn about these other communities, and figure out ways that they could be a support to it.
Just before we go then, do you know where the term woke was born?
Oh, I don't actually.
So I'll send you a video on it, and then
Okay.
you can be inspired maybe. Listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you from one Campbell to another. I appreciate
Oh,
your
are you
time.
a Campbell?
I
Yeah.
am I am indeed. I am indeed. So I appreciate your time, and I hope you get all the success you deserve with this play,
Oh,
with this
thank
production.
you.
All right. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we go?
Oh, I don't think so. I feel like I just talk.
We did your job. You did your job. Thanks for your time, Matthew. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.